This House will come back to order. House will come back to order. Mr. Clerk, you want to ring the bell? Clerk will read the caption to a group of privilege resolutions. The clerk will read.
Honoring the life and memory of Marlene Pearl Hicks. Honoring the life and memory of Kelvin Kelly Kellenberg. Honoring the life and memory of Thomas Tommy Lee Marchman. Honoring the life and memory of George Peter Stathopoulos. Recognizing and commending Dr. Lawrence Mayo on his outstanding service as a music conductor. Commending the city of Peachtree Corners and recognizing his 10th birthday. Recognizing and commending Carolyn Gleaton, honoring the 100th anniversary of Ebenezer Baptist Church's Heritage Sanctuary. Commending Margaret Garrett, Coosa High School's 2022 Star Teacher. Commending Sarah Catherine Jenkins, Coosa High School's 2022 Star Student. Recognizing and commending Pastor Melvin C. Smith on his installation. Recognizing and commending Joseph Joe Wilson. Recognizing and commending Katie Bloom as Gwinnett County Teacher of the Year. Recognizing and commending Dr. J. Marshall Shepard, 2022 SEC Professor of the Year. Honoring Tiff Tuff Bermuda Grass, a drought-tolerant Bermuda grass being grown by Georgia farmers. Recognizing and congratulating the Rhone Symphony on its 100th anniversary. Recognizing and commending Robert J. Regas. Recognizing and commending Mark Robinson. Recognizing and commending the Stone Mountain Chapter Jack and Jill of America Incorporated on its 35th anniversary and celebration. Recognizing and commending Megan Mann. Recognizing and commending Fayette County Public Schools finalists for the 2022 Governor's Honors Program. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privilege resolution.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the privilege resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. This House will come to order. This House will be in order. All members will please take your seats. All members. Chair recognizes the Chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, Chairman Don Hogan, for a special order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I don't know who left all this crap up here. It says, we're coming to your ducks. Yeah, they're not going to shoot my ducks. Because Trey Rhodes has got a legislation, House Bill 343, that prohibits him from coming on my farm without written permission, and I'm not going to do that. And there's the duck collars they put up here. I don't know about some of these people. And all these notes up here, I don't know whose notes these are. Eat more possum. That was a bad bill against the raccoons and the possums this year. I am disappointed that y'all passed that and moved it over to the Senate. I guess that's where it is now. When I qualified to run for this seat, my wife and I stopped through Hazelhurst and bought a money order for $400 to come up here, made out to the Georgia Republican Party, Inc. And the first person I met in line out there was Trey Kelly. So I went to my wife and I said, "You sure we need to qualify for this?" After meeting Trey Kelly. Yeah, but I didn't know how to get the $400 back, so I went ahead and qualified. And Mr. Speaker promised my wife he'd look after me when I got up here. First thing he did was put me right over there in between Trey Kelly and Matt Dollar. And you talk about having a problem trying to keep them straight. And Matt Dollar would always call up and say, "How about voting me in today?" I did that for a while until I got caught. And then I quit doing that for Matt Dollar. And he'd still come in late, and he'd come up here and get an excuse. And then he'd get up early and walk around. Just walk all over the place looking at the ceiling. You didn't know where Matt Dollar was coming from. I don't know who all I'm supposed to be talking about up here, but you're supposed not to be using legislators' names up here to get today, but the speaker can't do much to me because I'm leaving Monday. And then one morning early, Trey Kelly handed me a bill, and it was signed by a lot of you. And the number one signatory was the speaker. And I think you signed it. Yeah, you did. So it was turned in, and the speaker, about 30 minutes later, said like this, "You know how he does?" So I went over and I said, "Sir?" He said, "I got a problem." I said, "Problem?" He said, I need to know what committee to put this bill in. I said, "Mr. Speaker, you know better than I do what committee to put bills in." He said, "But Jess, you signed this." I said, "Yes, sir, and you did too." And he said, "Well, this is to create a city on St. Simons." I thought I was going to have a heart attack right there. I said, "Mr. Speaker, how about giving me that bill?" He gave it to me, and I put it in my coat pocket, and it's on St. Simons right now. I'd like to remember two people that were very meaningful to me. Jay Powell. You could take a bill over here to him. He'd tell you, throw it in the trash or it's a good bill. So he had some wise counsel, and I miss him very much. And the other one was John Meadows. John Meadows would come over here with that little old red book that we're supposed to go by. And we'd been out at the Fox barbecue, and they kept bringing those little old fruit drinks in there. So somebody told him that I'd had 4 drinks for lunch. So he came over there and he opened that book up and he pointed there about alcohol during lunch. So, but I do miss him very much. The clerk's office I admire very, very much because they're hard workers, and I think all of them were down here a few minutes ago having their picture made. But the speaker would always, not the speaker, but the clerk would always say to me every morning I went in to read the journal, he'd say, "Good morning, sir." I'd say, "Good morning, sir." So that's the greetings we got every morning, and he's a great guy. The clerk's office does a tremendous job. Scotty has done a tremendous job. And the other group I'd like to thank is legal counsel. Betsy over there worked on a lot of mental health bills for me, and Jeff Lanier was unbelievable. He worked on some other legislation for me. The doorkeepers, if you hadn't seen Don Holtz to look at his socks today, go check him out. So he's got some Hogan socks on today. And how dare Jesse Petrie do what he did with that dang lighthouse tag. That's the ugliest lighthouse on the East Coast. And he made fun of the St. Simons Lighthouse, and that's the most beautiful lighthouse on the East Coast. So shame on you, Jesse. I guess one of the saddest days of my life was Amon Aubrey getting killed. He was in my district. He was jogging one morning, and he was killed with blast of 3 buckshots by the people that murdered him. And that was sad. And I appreciate the minority caucus coming down, lending a hand to us. I appreciate Al Williams doing what he done, coming down to help us. And we were able to handle it. Could have been a real tragedy for Brunswick. But that was useless. I mean, that was tremendous murder. And that should have never happened for a young man like that. And as a result of that, though, we were able to pass a hate crime bill. The governor got behind that, and a citizen's arrest law. And Bert Reeves, I thank him for carrying that. He worked for the governor and the floor leader at that time, and he did a great job with it. I'd like to thank the majority leader, John Burns. He has been a tremendous friend. And Jan Jones has been a tremendous friend. When I was first elected, her door was open to me all the time to discuss legislation and what I should do about this and do about that. So you're a tremendous friend, both of you. Thank you very much. Terry England, I begged him for money for my technical college, and I brought him a little shrimp. Last year when he didn't give me any money, I went to him and I said, how come I didn't give him money? He said, you bring me no shrimp. So I brought him shrimp this year. Did I need to bring you any more? So that worked. And then I got Buddy, I got Buddy DeLoach to sit side of him over there. And Buddy's been working on him heavy. Buddy got some money from Macintosh, I think, and some other money. And you go across the hall over there, guy in the head of appropriations over there didn't treat us very good this year. So I don't know, that needs to be improved. Jay Roberts passed House Bill 170, which I didn't like part of that, and I went to the speaker about it. The speaker said, and it was a $5 on net worth by the sea, and they were hurting. So the speaker said to me, we sat down over there, and he said, imagine this, that's a ball of twine right there. You pull a little bit off here, and you pull a little bit off there, and all of a sudden you don't have a bill. I said, I understand, Mr. Speaker, I'll see you later. The ante room over here, I'm carrying about 10 pounds home with me from it. So I'm gonna have to lose up those 10 pounds. Carl Gilliard is the best dressed man in this house. He's unbelievable. And a great friend, and he was my best chaplain until Dale Washburn came along. And Dale did a great job this year, and I admire him very much. He was the best chaplain of the day. But I didn't know he had so many sins he confessed to up there. He's got a great wife, and why would he be out sinning? But he said right up here, that he had sinned, and he said a lot of sins. Jenny Earhart gave me 2 great cookbooks, and I appreciate that, Jenny. We used to sit right up there, knees all crunched up against that railing up there last year. My best chairwoman is Lynn Smith. She is great. She has done so much for the water problems we've had in this state, and we got to tour around down in Glenn County and up in McIntosh County and see how mussels are grown and so forth. So you're a great person. Thank you very much. I'd like to recognize an individual who's no longer with us. Reed Harris was a legislator up here and passed the Shoreline Protection Act in 1970. He was part of a law firm in Brunswick, and the law firm was representing a mining company from Savannah all the way to Florida, and they were going to mine all the marsh. So Reed came out against and passed legislation again, and he got kicked out of the law firm. And then in 1979, he passed the Shoreline Protection Act, which is very important. And he was a great legislator, and he worked to give this house independence from the governor. the governor used to appoint all the chairs and everything, and this house was pretty much run by the government, but Reed Harris was involved in getting an independence from the governor's office. Is Bodie in here? I told him what I was going to do, and he said, well, I'm running for state office. I said, well, this will probably help you. We were in 404 over CLOB. He came to me one morning and he said, why am I getting all this Republican literature? I said, well, Representative Bodie, you've been giving them money. And then he wanted to borrow my red tie to take it home and wear it at home so he'd know what he looked like. But he's got a blue one on today. Smyrie, he was in that office with us, and I never seen so much Coca-Cola stuff in all my life. I said, this has got to be a rich man. Coca-Cola everywhere. And I used to have an antique shop, and I sold a lot of Coca-Cola memorabilia. But I admire you very much. And we probably might see you down there as an ambassador, too. Shaw Blackman. Shaw and I have been friends for years. He's my roommate, one of the hardest worrying individuals I know of. He worries about everything. You can't calm him down. His dad and I are very good friends. We've done a lot of traveling in Ireland and playing a lot of golf over there. And Shaw and his sister went with us one time, and Shaw takes all this kind of, I don't know whether it's medicine or what he takes, but it's all this weird drinks he drinks. And he would have to roll the windows down when he got to drinking that stuff. The other tragedy we had was the Golden Ray. It cost right at $1 billion that Golden Ray moved out. They sectioned it off in several pieces. It had 4,200 automobiles on it. It was a disaster. But we were able to get it out of there, and there's several lawsuits related to that at this time. I'd like to thank my wife and daughter over here, Libby Hogan and my daughter Nicholas. They surprised me today by coming up here. I didn't know they even knew anything about me getting up in the well, but they were here this morning, and thanks to Trey Kelly for arranging to get them from the airport up here. It's hard to drive 5.5 miles from St. Simon's up here. At my age, you drive 5.5 miles, and it takes you 2 days to get over it. We got a lot of legislators in South Georgia that do that, it's just, it hurts trying to drive that, and you're taking your life in your hand. You come through Henry County and McDonough and so forth. I'm serious. I mean, you just bumper to bumper from the south of Henry County all the way to the Capitol, and that's not the way it ought to be. I've met the new mayor a couple of times downstairs, and I hope he's able to straighten some of these streets out up here. I mean, I don't think my truck's going to be worth anything when I get out of here, because these streets are bad, and the cost of living up here. Shaw and I, $4,500 a month to rent a 2-bedroom condo. And a lot of you live around Atlanta here, you spend the night in your bed every night and you don't pay that. But it takes a lot out of you to do that. I love most of you. And I appreciate all of you. But thank y'all for being my friend in passing House Bill 1013. Thanks to the First Lady of the House. her motivating the speaker to do what he did. To me, that's the most important legislation we've had in 10 or 12 years. I mean, I'm anxious to see just how it's going to work out. But my AOT bill that I worked on for 3 years, which is the outpatient treatment, that I hope it's going to work out. And thanks to my friend over there, head of appropriations, he put quite a bit of money in there for the mental health. And I just hope that we're able to start out in the right direction, providing service for mental health. I just had a friend that was killed in the jail in Brunswick. He was diagnosed schizophrenic when he was just a boy. Slept under his mother's house most of the time, and a great family, but he wouldn't stay on his medication. And our jails today are still full of people who will not stay on their medication. And there's some organizations don't think we ought to force people to take medication, psychotropics and so forth. But unless we do enforce that people stay on their medication, they're going to suffer greatly, and a lot of them are going to die. Thank y'all very much for being my friend, and I do love every one of you.
Just a minute, you can.
Can I hit the gavel?
I'm gonna let you hit the gavel, but I've got to defend Chairman Blackman. Now you were up there complaining about how he worried. You know, he used to call me at midnight at night and say, "Have you seen Dawn?" I said, I can't keep up with him, Shaw. I mean, if you can't, I certainly can't. But I think I speak for a lot of people in here that we love you, our friend.
Thank you.
We're going to miss you. And Libby, thank you very much for letting us have him for a few years. Of course, you know everybody's going to be coming to your house now, okay? When we're down at the island. So she'll get over it, she said. All right. Thank you very much. Let's get a picture over here. And Stephen Saines wanted to be in the picture, too. I'm going to ask members to greet Chairman Hogan out in the anteroom. We've still got a little work to do. So, Deidre, would you escort the Hogan family and Stephen Saines out to the anteroom? All right. The House will come back to order. House will come back to order. We have a supplemental local calendar. Two bills on the local calendar are an agree-disagree. Having received the requisite number of signatures required, the House delegation wishes to agree to the Senate sub to the bill. So third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. The clerk will read the local calendar.
House Bill 1541 by Senate, substitute by Representative Allen of the 40th, Cobb County. House Bill 1557 by Senate, substitute by Representative Gravely of the 67th, Paulding County.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bills on the local calendar, the ayes are 152, the nays are 5. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed.
Chair recognizes Chairman Estration for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House adhere to its position with respect to SB 218, insisting on the House substitute, and that the Chair appoint a committee of conference.
Chairman Estration moves that the House adheres to its position on House substitute to Senate Bill 218 and appoint a committee of conference. The clerk will read the caption.
Senate Bill 218 by Senator Walker of the 20th, Dugan the 30th, Kirkpatrick the 32nd, and others to be titled an act to amend Chapter 5 of Title 45 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the vacation of office so as to provide for the suspension of compensation for certain public officers who are suspended because of an indictment for a felony.
Is there objection? The chair hears none and the House has adhered. The chair appoints Chairman Efstration, Chairman Gaines, and Representative Gullett as a committee of conference on Senate Bill 218. The chair recognizes Chairman Stevens for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that this House disagree with the Senate amendment to House Bill 1381.
Chairman Stevens has moved that the House disagree to the Senate substitute to Senate amendment to House Bill 1381. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 1381 by Representative Stevens, the 164th England and the 116th Corbett of the 174th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 80, Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions applicable to counties, municipal corporations, and other governmental entities so as to require Water and Sewer Authority Board members to complete yearly continuing training courses.
Chair recognizes Chairman Stevens to explain the Senate amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As you might recall, we ran a bill through that was from the Rural Development Council that required education, continuing education for the water and sewer authorities. The Senate added some good language, if you will, to train for this section and leave that up to the discretion of the DCA commissioner in those cases where they don't have enough time to train. We also had a bill following that had to do with the development authorities, which they did not come out and they lit up like a Christmas tree. So we want to disagree, put those two bills together, and I hope you'll agree.
On the gentleman's motion that the House disagree to the Senate amendment, is there objection? The chair hears none, and the House has disagreed to the Senate amendment to House Bill 1381. For what purpose does Chairman Belton rise?
To make a motion,
State your motion.
I move that the rules be temporarily suspended so the bill may be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules be suspended so the bill may be read for the first time and assigned to committee. Clerk will read the caption.
Unnumbered House Bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 10A, Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to professional counselors, social workers, and marriage and family therapists so as to clarify certain licensing provisions and improve the quality of licensees.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules be temporarily suspended so that a bill may be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? The chair hears none. Regulated Industries. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 445. Senate Bill 445.
Senate Bill 445 by Senator Burns, the 23rd, Payne of the 54th, Hickman of the 4th, Gooch of the 51st, and Mullis of the 53rd, and others, be entitled to an act to amend Code Section 82143 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to civil and criminal penalties for violation of Section 610 of the National Manufactured Housing Construction and Safety Standards Act of 1974. This bill having referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
The chair recognizes Representative Washburn to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I rise to present Senate Bill 445 by Senator Burns of the 23rd. This bill, he carried this bill at the request of the Insurance Commissioner, and it amends the state civil penalties for violations that are found in the National Manufactured Housing Construction and Safety Standards Act. It simply replaces what is currently in the state code with the federal regulations for the same violations. And Madam Chair, I will yield for any questions.
There are no questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge your favorable consideration of this bill. I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 158, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 610. Senate Bill 610.
Senate Bill 610 by Senator Harrell of the 40th, Burke of the 11th, Dugan of the 30th, Butler of the 55th, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 4, Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to medical assistance generally, so as to require the Department of Community Health to conduct a comprehensive review of provider reimbursement rates for home and community-based services. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Human Relations and Aging. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman Petrie to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I rise today to speak to you about Senate Bill 10. But I first want to say something about my good friend, Representative Hogan, made some remarks about my lighthouse, and I just want to emphasize to him, I don't know if he's in here, but I want him to know that I love him like a great-great-great-great-grandfather, and I just want him to know that in spite of his comments. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the substitute to Senate Bill 610. This measure, and I'm going to speak to you about the two sections of this bill, and I want to explain the first one very carefully. This bill very simply is going to require that every 4 years the Department of Community Health does a rate study on home and community-based service waivered programs. So y'all will know, and our Chairman England would understand this stuff so well, we have entitlements to Medicaid services in the world of long-term care, and then we have programs that are waivered services that allow people to be served in the community. Those programs that you'll see before you, there's the new options waiver, there's the comprehensive waiver in this bill, there's the independent care waiver program, the GAP program, which serves medically fragile pediatric children who would otherwise be in hospitals, and then there's the EDWP, which is the elderly and disabled waiver. So all of these programs are waivered programs that serve individuals who are disabled, who have long been part of the Medicaid population that we serve, and allows them to be served in the community. The challenge is that we struggle up here as we fund these programs. We don't really have data to show us what the rates should be to serve those individuals. This bill by Representative Sally Harrell in the Senate would require the departments to do rate studies so that there's data to show us what the rate should be. It's important that I tell you that the legislature is not compelled in any way to accept those rates, but at least the information will be there, and I believe this will be very helpful to some of our subcommittees for making good decisions. The second part of this bill, if you look at lines 31 to 37, is precisely the language in House Bill 1404 that we have already passed out of this chamber. That bill passed 167 to 5. That was Representative Pruitt's bill. And what this bill very simply does, this part of the bill, is allow what are described here as private institutions for mental diseases or private psychiatric hospitals to accept Medicaid. So remember, this is not Medicaid expansion. Individuals, we already have 78,500 Georgians with mental illness who are on Medicaid. But when they are served in private hospitals, and I think most of you are aware that our state hospitals have all closed. So we need resources to serve individuals with mental illness in this state. This is a very good bill as a companion to House Bill 1013, and it will allow those organizations to serve our constituents with mental illness and to be able to bill for them. Madam Speaker, that's very simply what this bill does, and I'm glad to accept a question or two if that's necessary.
There is a question. The chair recognizes Chairman Hogan for a question.
When did you start being my friend?
I'm sorry, sir?
When did you start being my friend?
The day you got here, Chairman.
Yeah, but what did you say when you first got in the well tonight?
I told everybody here that I loved you like a great-great-great-great-grandfather, and I mean it. I mean it. I mean it.
That's not what
Chairman.
I was told. I was told that you thought of me as your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Well, I mean, tomato, Mr. Chairman.
Bye.
There are no more questions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 154, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 333. Senate Bill 333.
Senate Bill 333 by Senator Albers, the 56th, Dugan, the 30th, Hatchett, the 50th, Robertson, the 29th, Gooch, the 51st, and others. The Untitled Act to amend Part 1A of Article 7 of Chapter 3 of Title 20, the official code of Georgia annotated relating to non-public post-secondary education institutions so as to remove provisions related to agents and agents' permits. This bill having referred to the Committee on Higher Education. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by Rules Committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman Martin to present the bill.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the House. I bring Senate Bill 333 today. This is a department bill for the group that oversees our post-secondary private institutions. Their goal, of course, is to make sure that the students are protected. If they go to an institution, a for-profit institution, that they have funds to make sure that if something happens with that institution, the students are made whole. What the bill specifically does is it limits their oversight to schools that are offering degrees. Previously, the way the language went, there was some ambiguity in that they could also regulate people that were helping with testing in order to get those degrees, and that was not their original mission. It also eliminates in sections 3 through 7 and 9 through 13 references to agents. In years past, these schools were sold to students through an agency arrangement with individuals. That really just that doesn't happen in 2022. So they are licensing the schools, and the schools themselves are responsible for their agent. It reduces the bonding capacity, but increases the opportunity of the agency to make students whole by creating a fund that's paid into by new schools. And that fund will be what I would refer to as a sinking fund, so money will accumulate. So if there's an untimely closure, the students could be made whole. It allows them, and by doing that, it allows for self-insurance. It also, this allows the agency to be more responsive and get the money to the students faster, because if a bond has to be cashed, many times there's arguments with the insurance company. It takes a while to get the money in order to make the students whole so they can continue their education. With that, Madam Speaker, I would just ask the House's favorable consideration. This, again, is a department bill. It takes us in a direction to ensure the students in Georgia that are going to these institutions are taken care of in the event of an untimely closure. The reason for the rule substitute was to better define post-secondary activity. That only change from the Higher Ed Committee that was made in rules is lines 23 through 30 to make that definition clearer. There was a prepositional phrase that could have applied to the post-secondary degrees and to the awarding of the study experience portion, and we wanted to make clear that that will only applied to the second one. You'll see that in lines 25 through 30. With that, if there are technical questions, I'll answer them. Otherwise, I ask the House favorable consideration of Senate Bill 333.
There's a question. The chair recognizes Leader Beverly for a question.
Gentleman yield.
Yes, sir.
This is sort of a technical question. You increased the limit from $500,000 a cap to, is it going to go to about 10 million until 2040?
Right.
And so the reason for that increase, is it stepwise, or is it up to 2040 will be $10 million? What's the reason for that?
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen, for the question. Well, the reason for the increase in the funds is because the reduction of the bonding requirement, because having the fund allows the organization access to the money in the event of an untimely closure, so they can make the students whole faster, as opposed to arguing with the holder of the bond, the insurance company. That is the reason the increase. The reason out to 2040 is so that they don't charge the schools so much as to increase the cost to the students. But if that answers the gentleman's question, so you increase the fund to have money to pay out the students in the event of an untimely closure, and that would make the money more accessible than it would be coming out of money. It's a self-insurance, if you will.
There are no more questions.
Thank you. I ask the House favorable consideration Senate Bill 333 and yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is withdrawn. Is there any objection to adopting the substitute offered by the Committee on Rules? The chair hears none. The Rules Committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 155, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 10. Senate Bill 10.
Senate Bill 10 by Senator Jones, the 10th Butler, the 55th, James, the 35th, Say, the 34th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 11 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to offenses against public order so as to provide for an offense of promoting illegal drag racing and laying drags. This bill having referred to the Committee on Judiciary and Non-Civil. That committee recommends that this bill do pass. by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Smith to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. Members of the House, today I bring to you the House Committee substitute to Senate Bill 10. You will see within this bill there were several changes made. In Section 1, you will see that we have amended the code section relating to impersonating a public officer or employee to include an officer of the court. And Section 2, you'll see that we have written into the code section that it will be illegal to have a global positioning or monitoring device on a person's vehicle that has received a temporary protective order, consent order, or a protective order. And then going forward through the bill, you'll see in Section 3 and Section 4 that this bill will amend our laws to allow for judges to have the discretion, and I point out discretion, to ensure that if someone has a failure to appear in court, that they would not lose their license. Now, this does not reward bad actors that just have a habit of not showing up to court. This requires an order from the judge to ensure that someone's license would not be suspended. And Madam Speaker, that is the gist of the bill, and I'll yield for question.
There are no questions. There we have a question. Chair recognizes Representative Hawley for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Do you yield, sir?
Up for a question to my friend.
Just curious, for the bill in its current state, I know I've read it, and I do appreciate you bringing it because, you know, someone who used to put these special condition bond orders to make sure that folks who were let out on violent crimes, that they would have no further contact, and especially nowadays with the way technology is going, it's being abused, unfortunately, so I think this is a good bill. But further, actually, do you further yield?
I do.
Is it true that even though this bill actually started out to stop drag racing on the highways, the language currently in the bill does not address that?
Yes, sir, and I can provide the gentleman with an explanation real quick. Last year, this House, in its wisdom, passed legislation that would actually deal with the drag racing we're seeing on our streets. In fact, was watching the news earlier this week, and it seems like those laws that we passed last year were doing that, and we were afraid that with the version that had come out from the Senate that it would be a little too overly broad, so we didn't want to mess up a good thing we had going on. Madam Speaker, with that, I will yield the well and ask this body's favorable consideration.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. For what purpose does Representative McLaurin rise?
Parliamentary.
State your inquiry.
Madam Chair, is it not true that there are a number of very thoughtful and hardworking criminal justice reform advocates who have been supporting this bill and working on it to make sure that our system works a little better than it did the day before? Is that not true?
The chair is sure that the gentleman knows of which he speaks. Thank you. For what purpose does Chairman Burchett rise?
To make a motion. I make a motion that we immediately transmit Representative McLaurin to the Senate.
The chair doesn't recognize you for that motion. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 155, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 96. Senate Bill 96.
Senate Bill 96 by Senator Jackson, the 2nd, Harbison the 15th, Jones the 10th, and Rahman the 5th. The Entitled Act to amend Chapter 17 and Title 45 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to notaries public so as to provide that the identification of persons for whom notaries perform notarial acts shall be evidenced satisfactorily by valid Veterans Health Identification Card issued by the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. This bill having referred to the Committee on Defense and Veteran Affairs, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Mallow to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, this is a fairly simple bill. This bill simply allows for our veterans to receive services. Many of our veterans are transient, and some are homeless and do not have proper identification, state-issued ID. Some are just transitioning out of the military and need documents to be notarized. And once they leave, their military ID card is turned back in, and so they will get their Veterans ID health card. And so this bill will just allow notaries to notarize documents by verifying who they are by using their Veterans Health Identification Card issued by the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. A fairly simple bill, and I would ask for your favorable consideration and passage of this great piece of legislation today. And with that, Madam Speaker, I yield the will.
Gentleman has yielded the well. The chair recognizes Chairman Clark to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I just wanted to come to thank the member for this bill. This is very important. There are veterans in VA homes who are shut-ins, and they need to have this ability when they need to call to get their will updated or a power of attorney notarized, and this is the only form of identification they have. And we have, this is one of the last bills that's veteran-friendly in my term here in the House, and I just want to thank this body for all the bipartisan support we've had throughout the years to support our veterans. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Gentleman's yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 158, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Chair recognizes Chairman Carpenter for an announcement.
It's been a real special year serving with each and every one of you. I've got a great announcement brought to you by Mohawk Industries in conjunction with the University of Georgia. So they will be putting these in your office, so don't come bug my administrative assistant. She don't want to hear it. They'll be in your office on Monday, so enjoy them. We appreciate you and all your support for all industries, especially the carpet industry.
Chair recognizes Chairman Cantrell for an announcement.
Hey, I appreciate that. Chairman Carpenter, I need something to wipe my feet on. Oh, sorry. Come on back up here, Chairman Nix. Hey, Chairman Nix and I were talking the other day, since we're both leaving, we wanted to give you guys kind of a going away present. So we had some special custom-made socks made up for every member. They have the flag of our state on it, and we'll have those at our desk for anybody who wants them. We didn't put it on your desk, but they'll be there for you. Now additionally, I do want to say that I have a special affection for the clerk, Bill Riley, and I wanted to give him a gift special for him. So I called his wife up. I said, Miss Riley, I really like to get something nice for Bill because, I mean, nobody rings the bell like Bill, right? And she said, you know, when session's not in, he gets kind of depressed because, you know, he likes ringing that bell. And she said, what our marriage needs is more bell. In fact, specifically, she said, it needs more cowbell. So I've got a special cowbell for Bill Riley as well. Thank you.
The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Honoring the life and memory of Dorothy May Lawyer Johnson. Honoring the life and memory of Jack B. Edwards, Jr. Honoring the life and memory of Marissa McCall. Recognizing April 2 through 8, 2022 as Week of the Young Child at the State Capitol. Recognizing and commending Wilhelmina Atkinson Dean. Recognizing and commending Adekunde Warnock. Recognizing and commending Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Inc. for the 69th South Atlantic Regional Conference. Recognizing and commending John P. Terlano. Recognizing April 4th as Community Health Centers Day. Recognizing and commending the 2022 Georgia Farm Working Families at the Capitol. Recognizing April 2nd, 2022 as LaShawn Pace Remembrance Day. Recognizing and commending Chloe Elizabeth Ann Walker for the 2021-2022 school year at Midtown High School in Atlanta, Georgia. Recognizing and commending Benjamin E. Mays High School, its student body, faculty, and staff in Atlanta, Georgia. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. The House will stand at ease.